Hello, I'm Hannah Wallace and welcome to Finextra TV. Today we're in Dubai for the Suntec Confluence 2019, the theme of which is digital at the core. With me now is the president of Suntec, Amit Dua. Amit, thank you very much for joining and thank you for inviting us to Dubai.
Yeah, I'm so glad, Hannah, you made it here. Hope you're liking Dubai.
I'm certainly enjoying the event as well. And now tell me, many banks do feel constrained by the inflexibility of their core systems. Do you think they need to replace them or can they renew them? And what are the risks?
Great question to start with. So all of last 18 years before I joined here 2 years back, I was actually doing core systems and always heard about the fact that replacing the core system is like changing the engine of Boeing 747 in midair. Those are the risks associated with replacing a core, leave alone the money and the resources it takes. And thanks to a lot of developments in technology and otherwise today, like one of my clients like to say, he's changing his core system without really changing his core system, sure. which is nothing but extracting functionality out of the core system and allowing it to do what it best does, which is system of records, which is position keeping, a general ledger, and so on and so forth. The entire customer engagement piece is being lifted out of core and being managed as a horizontal cross-enterprise layer. So the short answer to your question is, you can do things you want to do to manage and to live up to the expectations of a new generation client today without really changing the core system.
All right, and we all know that technology is a driver for change. Do you think banks are really embracing this change enough?
I think it's a mixed bag. So on one hand are the de novo or the challenger banks of the sort that have got set up in UK and all over the world, whose business model is with an overlay over technology. So there's no legacy. The business utilizes or leverages technologies to the fullest, while the traditional banks are at best naturally trying to apply technology to their existing businesses. And that makes it hard. So I don't envy those guys at all. So there's an entire spectrum of of the banks. And I have to say that amongst the traditional banks, there are some who've embraced it fully, and names like BBVA, very notable names, right from the CEO onwards, talks about how they're a software company, actually a data company, not a bank anymore. In Asia, for instance, DBS, which is talked about going digital all across. So there are some of the notable names which come to mind, but not all the banks. I think some of the banks are still trying to grasp the change that is happening, and I have to say politely that struggling with it a little bit.
All right, and what advice then would you give to banks in the future in this space? Do you think they need to move away from a product-based banking system?
Oh, certainly. I think the product-based banking systems, even the whole concept of cross-sell, if you really think about it deeply, when a banker tries to cross-sell another product, at the end of the day, the ultimate motive in mind is to sell yet another product. So it's not about relationship, right? And I think increasingly banks will start realizing, and thanks to some of the regulations like open banking in UK and PSD2 in Europe, that today, all of what I used to do historically, when I, let's say, wanted to buy a house, so I used to go to a bank to go for a mortgage. I used to go to a different, home security company to set up the security, a different broadband company, a different utility company. All of this running around was being done by myself. Now, thanks to open banking PSD2, all of this can be enabled on a platform which a bank can orchestrate, because bank is best positioned to perhaps own the customer experience. Right? So a lot of banks are talking about moving away from a product business, let's say a mortgage, to servicing the need or a life requirement of a consumer. I mean, remember, and I'm sure this is the case with you as well, we didn't grow up dreaming about going for a mortgage someday, but all of us dreamt about owning a house someday, right? So if you can service my entire need of owning a house, completing this home buying experience, I'm happy with it. And to enable that, we have our solution called Accelerate, which essentially enables a customer to set up his or her own goal using the app And the goal could be like owning a house, the goal could be travel to Hawaii for a holiday, or indeed the goal could be sending my child to Harvard for education tomorrow.
Fantastic. Well, this sounds like a really exciting development. Amit, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah.
And thank you for watching.